It's 2 minutes before your biggest meeting of the day, and you're left wondering, what do I do now?
Mom? 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 Mom!
What is it?
So today at recess, John said his fire creature can beat my lightning creature, but I told him mine has 200 HP and he evolves at level 36. And Mrs.
That moment, the tug on your sleeve, that wasn't the child being rude. That was data. Your child just tested a hypothesis. Does this level of behavior get mom faster than my voice? And your response gave him the answer. Yes, that's the loop. You didn't spoil him. You didn't fail. Your nervous system answered a question his nervous system asked. If a sleeve tug worked today, or dropping to the floor, or that scream that made you jump, that's where they start tomorrow. And they'll do it over and over and over until the pattern changes or something bigger works. Picture this. It played out in your house today. Let's run the tape. You're cooked. It's 6:15 p.m. Dinner's burning. Emails unanswered. Dogs staring at you. Then it starts. Your nervous system now has two fires.
1 second, honey!
I'm cooking it! Give me a minute! What? What is so important?
Look what I can do!
Your face drops, not angry, empty. You look at him, then back at the kitchen. You whisper, okay. You think, I came, it was nothing, dinner burned. And now you feel terrible because you're angry at your 5-year-old for needing you. And the worst part, you can't even say that out loud. Did you catch what just happened? It wasn't something urgent. It was about the attention that appeared the moment the behavior got big enough. And here's what makes this loop so hard to break. When you finally respond, even frustrated, even exhausted, that is connection. To their brain, that counts. So the question isn't, why does my child act like this? The real question is, what is the behavior actually getting them? Because once you see that, you stop feeling manipulated. You start seeing the loop. Now, here's the part nobody warns you about. When I say stop responding to the escalation, it sounds simple, but in real life, it feels awful. Because not responding to the behavior feels like ignoring your child, especially if you grew up feeling unseen, especially if you've worked hard to be present, especially if you promised you'd be the parent you needed. So let me be clear. Ignoring the behavior is not the same thing as ignoring your child. Those are two completely different things. And that difference is everything. So here's what that looks like in practice. You stay present, you don't disappear, you just stop letting the loud behavior be the fastest path to you. While they're escalating, don't rush in. The moment the behavior comes down even a little, that's when attention becomes available. That's the moment you respond to. Not the loudest one. The escalation isn't what gets your attention. The quieter moment does. That's the whole shift. Let's go back to that email. Same laptop, same deadline, same cold coffee, same mom, mom, mom. Same part of your brain whispering, please, I can't stop right now. Old version. You turn around at the tug, at the interruption, at the fourth mom, at whatever behavior finally gets loud enough. And the moment attention appears, the brain learns something, not because anyone planned it, not because anyone is manipulating anyone, just because it worked. Now rerun the tape. Same child, same email, same deadline, same urge to turn around, same urge to say, what? But this time, you don't let the behavior decide when attention happens. Mom, the sleeve tug. Every part of you wants to respond right now. But you wait, not forever, not coldly, not to punish, just long enough for the escalation to stop driving the interaction. You glance over, no tears, no injury, no emergency, just a child who really wants to tell you something. Mom, the tug again. You keep typing, you finish the sentence, you hit send. The volume comes down, the body settles, even a little. Now you turn.
I want to hear about your game. My meeting starts right now. Come find me when I'm done.
And then you turn back to the laptop. And what about that moment in the kitchen? The one where you're stirring dinner and suddenly hear, Mom, come here. Rerun the tape there too. Same scream, same urge to drop everything and run. But instead of letting the behavior decide when attention happens, you stay with the stove. You check that he's safe. You keep cooking. And when the intensity comes down, that's when attention becomes available. I want to see it. Show me when I'm done cooking. Notice what changed and what didn't. The child still got your attention. You didn't ignore them. You didn't reject them. You didn't abandon them. Connection still happened. The child still got what they wanted. What changed was who controlled the timing. The behavior didn't decide when attention arrived. You did. And that's the beginning of breaking the loop. Now, I want to be honest with you. This does not mean the behavior magically disappears tomorrow. In fact, it may get louder for a while. That's normal. The brain is testing the old rule. It's asking, are you sure this doesn't work anymore? But every time the escalation stops controlling when connection happens, the system starts to update. Slowly, but it does. Your child doesn't need you to ignore their feelings. They need the big behavior to stop being the fastest route to you. That's the whole shift. Does this fix everything overnight? No. But if screaming keeps deciding when you show up, nothing else you teach them about feelings or calm or words has room to land. First, the behavior has to stop running the house. So today we talked about attention, but what if the behavior isn't trying to get you or a toy or out of a task? What if some behaviors happen just because? If you treat that the same way, you're ignoring a kid who's struggling alone. I'll break that down next. For now, go watch the videos on when they say no to everything or when they only stop crying if you give in. Those are up right now. See you there.